It does not begin when you feel it. It begins when you arrive. It does not remove you. It separates what no longer belongs together. It does not take anything away. It releases what is no longer bound. Once separated, it remains exactly as it is. It does not judge you. It measures what remains. It does not assume what you are. It aligns to what can be measured. It does not decide what you are. It records what remains. It does not weigh your life. It compares what remains to what is required. It does not ask who you were. It aligns you to what is required. It does not choose for you. It confirms what you already are. It does not decide your end. It assigns where you continue. It does not move you by force. It places you where you now belong. It continues until what was once together can no longer return. It is complete. What was one can no longer be the same. It does not return you. It directs what remains into different paths. It does not ask where you go. It fixes where you now exist. It does not keep you. It moves you beyond where the system applies. It continues outward until the system no longer contains you. It reaches the limit where the system no longer applies.
It does not show you where you go.
It ends without needing to be seen.
It remains only as what is left behind. It remains without needing to be anything. It ends without leaving anything behind. It does not end because there is nothing left that needs to. It remains even after nothing defines it. It exists, but there is nothing left to see it. It is not gone. It simply cannot be defined anymore. There is nothing, not even the absence of something. It cannot continue, because nothing remains that could. It did not return. It simply appeared again. It begins to take shape without knowing what it is. The eyes open, but nothing is being seen yet. It sees, but it does not know what it is seeing. It begins to separate what is from what is not. It begins to sense a boundary, but does not know what it separates. It begins to sense that what it sees may be connected to itself. It begins to question if what it sees is itself. It realizes that what it sees is itself. It knows it is, but it does not know what it is.
It begins to need something that can define it.
It creates its first distinction between what is itself and what is not. It becomes the center without knowing what that means. It moves without knowing what movement does. It begins to sense that the change comes from itself. It repeats, and the same change happens again. It reaches outward to see if the world will respond.
It waits, but nothing answers back.
It begins to expect, even though it does not know why.
It expects, but nothing ever happens.
It turns back toward the only thing that responds.
It stays with what continues to respond.
It remains within the only pattern that works. It continues, but nothing new comes from it.
It changes without knowing why it changed. It changes the pattern to see if something else happens.
It repeats one change more than the others. It keeps choosing the same change again and again.
It becomes the pattern that always comes from itself.
It becomes one with the pattern that always comes from it.
It sees itself through what it keeps becoming.
It repeats until nothing new remains. It stops because there is nothing left to repeat. It returns to where nothing moves anymore. Something remains, but it no longer repeats. It moves again, but not in the way it once did. They begin to move closer to each other in time.
A pattern begins, but it cannot hold itself yet. It begins to repeat in a way that holds together.
It continues, adding more to what has begun. It repeats the longer form it has just made. It becomes something that no longer breaks.
It begins to sense that it is repeating.
It no longer moves the way it did before. It realizes this was never real to begin with. It stops because it cannot continue as before. When everything stops, something still remains.